is Wednesday, February 16th. I'm Sam Dutch.
And I'm Julia Wazleski. We're going to show you a little bit about what's happening now, but first we're going to give you a weather update. What have you thought about this weather, Sam?
This weather today is beautiful. It's lovely outside. What do you think?
I love it. I love the warm weather, and I'm very excited for like spring and stuff.
Me too. I'm really hoping. I know Punxsutawney Phil said, more winter, but I'm really hoping that we get some early spring.
Exactly. So let's see what Jackie Rasta has for us with the weather. Jackie?
Thanks, guys. I totally agree on this weather. It has watered my crops and cleared my skin. Today's forecast is going to be a high of 57 degrees and a low of 27 degrees. There's going to be a 0% chance of rain today, and humidity is going to be at 29%, so make sure you get outside. For our hourly forecast today, at 3 p.m. it's going to be sunny at 55 degrees. 6 p.m. it's going to be darker but still clear at 51, and at 9 p.m. it's going to stay dark and clear at 50 degrees. For tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be a high of 59 degrees and with a low of 22. Humidity is going to be at 72%, and there's going to be a 100% chance of rain, so make sure you get outside today. That's all for right now. Let's go back to the desk.
Thanks, Jackie. Police have been investigating a shooting on Tuesday evening in Marshall Shadeland. Pittsburgh police have been investigating the shooting after receiving a call around 5 p.m. for a man who was shot on the McCook Street 2400 block. The shooting was non-fatal, and the victim was taken to a hospital via a private vehicle and was in stable condition. He is being treated for a gunshot wound to the leg, and the Violent Crime Unit is investigating the case. Thomas Ankrum, police chief, received a call from Morris Street landlord around 1:30 p.m. on Monday, letting them know that he had not heard from his tenants in several days. Not long after, a man was found dead at the top of the steps with gunshot wounds, and a woman was found with gunshot wounds on the second floor. The tenants had been living there for approximately 3 months, Ankrum said. Quote, "The downstairs neighbor indicated that they hadn't heard from them in roughly 10 days. They have been deceased for a period of time. I don't know the exact length of time at this point." End quote. Investigations are continuing.
Tensions between Russia and Ukraine have continued to rise. CNN has the story.
While there's been words coming from Putin's mouth, we've got to believe the facts on the ground. He may be moving back the date, and that's good in terms of when he might launch his invasion. I think the messages are getting through. I think we've got Putin a little bit off balance, but unfortunately we've not seen a major de-escalation.
Dylan Bartifay has been convicted of killing Gregory Blair, the father of former Pitt basketball star Dejon Blair. Following a 3-day trial, Bartifay was convicted Monday of killing Gregory Blair in 2019. Investigations say Bartifay and Blair got into an argument on Center Street in Wilkinsburg. Bartifay then shot Blair and walked away. Blair died later at a hospital. Bartifay is facing a mandatory sentence of life in prison. He'll be formally sentenced on May 13th.
Greensburg police have announced that a missing Westmoreland County man has been found safe. Benjamin Stabb has been found on Monday after going missing on Saturday around 3:30 p.m. He had last been seen near Chestnut Hill and Hawksworth Garden apartments. He was said to not have taken medications for his mental health issues, so others were concerned. Sharon Shelton, an inmate at a federal prison, is suing Allegheny County after being acquitted of the murder of 6 people and an unborn child. Sheldon and co-defendant Robert Thomas allegedly used firearms at a barbecue hosted by a group of family and friends in March 2016. Neither one was found guilty of the charges. Sheldon is currently serving an 8-year prison sentence for the possession of a stolen gun, but spent 4 years in prison and faced the death penalty if convicted of the other charges. He claims that in his lawsuit that the police used 3 informants whose statements did not match the evidence. Both Shelton and Thomas had filed lawsuits against the Allegheny County Police.
Just before 1:30 p.m. Sunday, police were called to a 2500 block of Walnut Street when an SUV crashed into the side of a home. According to the person living at the home, a dad was teaching a teenager how to drive when the vehicle hit the home. The home is currently without water as the vehicle hit the water line, and People's Gas is looking at the scene now in case of a possible gas leak. It is not known at the time if anyone was hurt in the crash. The Roberto Clemente Bridge is now closed until December 2023. It closed on Monday morning for a nearly 2-year-long rehabilitation project. The bridge typically sees about 8,000 vehicles a day, but it closed after 6 a.m. Monday, and construction crews started working right away. Outbound vehicle traffic will be detoured using Fort Duquesne Boulevard, the Andy Warhol Bridge, Sandusky Street, East Lecoq Street, and Federal Street. Inbound vehicle traffic will be detoured using East General Robinson Street, Sandusky Street, the Andy Warhol Bridge, and Fort Duquesne Boulevard.
Beginning on Saturday, February 26th, the Catholic Diocese of Pittsburgh will ease its COVID restrictions for priests, deacons, ushers, and parishioners. Masks will no longer be required during Masses, and parish events are able to be held in person. Parishioners are also permitted to share the sign of peace. Catholic schools will also be able to lighten their restrictions. Schools will no longer require students to mask in elementary or high schools other than on school buses. Students will also be asked to wear a face mask for 5 days after returning to school after testing positive for COVID-19. A Shaler hockey player has been suspended indefinitely due to a fight between the players and the parents after a game. After Latrobe beat Shaler on Thursday night, two dads with sons on the opposing team were arguing over the game until the arguments turned violent, and eventually a player on the Shaler team began to get involved with the fight. Both the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League and the Shaler Area School District are currently investigating, and police have viewed the surveillance footage from the ice rink. After the investigations closed, the school district plans to hold a hearing to determine any further punishment for the player. When we come back, we will give you an update on COVID numbers in Pennsylvania and here at RMU.
And Michael Deemer is at the sports desk to tell us what's going on in the world of sports here on RMU Live.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove. You told me not to do drugs. You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Welcome back to RMU Live. As of February 14th, Pennsylvania currently has 2,445 new cases of COVID-19. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Health, the state has 2,264,761 total confirmed positive cases. There are also 464,516 probable cases of COVID-19. People with confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 have tested positive, and people with probable cases have symptoms or have been in contact with someone with COVID-19 and are awaiting test results. Now let's take a look at RMU's COVID numbers.
According to the RMU COVID-19 dashboard, there are currently 3 students and 3 employees in isolation, and 7 students and 10 employees in quarantine. Individuals in isolation have tested positive for COVID-19. Individuals in quarantine have shown symptoms and are awaiting test results or have been exposed to an infected person. The number of people in isolation and quarantine includes both those doing so in campus housing and off-campus housing, or in the case of employees in their homes. How much coffee do you consume? While caffeine can help your body get moving in the morning, too much can also cause side effects. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has 6 ways to wake up without coffee.
For some, the idea of giving up your morning joe may seem like a joke, but cutting back on caffeine can give your health a boost, says Nancy Farrell-Allen with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.
You want to feel energized without really feeling stressed.
6 ways to wake up without coffee starts with being well rested. Tips for cutting back on caffeine include getting hydrated, drink water when you wake up, and exercise. It can help get you moving in the morning. Getting outdoors or some upbeat music can also help. You can try aromatherapy as well.
You can use a body wash that's maybe citrus scented. I am aware of a body wash that actually is coffee scented. If that's your pick or your idea, that might help you, right? There are also coffee scented candles out there that might help you.
Alan says fueling your body with the right foods can provide longer lasting energy. Breakfast and snacks should have both fiber and protein.
Those two components really help to slow that metabolism or the breakdown of those food items, and then thereby it gives us that steady release of those nutrients that help to curb our hunger.
And finally, set yourself up for good sleep at night by giving your body some time to settle down. Alan says cutting back on caffeine may not be easy, but these simple tips make it possible.
Following through and doing it is another, part of the equation.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The nutritionist says cutting back on caffeine will differ from one person to the next based on your daily consumption levels. If you drink several cups a day, you may want to wean yourself off a bit. Start by trying to cut back by 50%.
Steelers linebacker TJ Watt has been named the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Watt was announced with the award last week on Thursday, February 10th, during the NFL Honors Show. This makes him one of 8 Steelers to ever have won the award. Some past Steelers recipients included Troy Polamalu and Joe Green, among others. Watt had a fantastic season this year with 22.5 sacks this season. His success on the field earned him this award.
Boston Bruins right winger Brad Marchand has been suspended for his actions in Tuesday's game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. With under 30 seconds remaining in the third period, Marchand punched Tristan Jarry in the side of the head and swung his stick at the goalie's head, where he was given a game misconduct penalty. The NHL announced Wednesday he is being suspended for 6 games. Marchand has now been suspended 8 times.
Caitlin Callahan is the first female uniformed coach in franchise history. Callahan announced on her Instagram page that she has accepted an offer to work with the Pirates as a development coach. She will be working from Pirate City in Bradenton, Florida. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Callahan has an extensive history on the baseball and softball fields. She previously worked for the Cincinnati Reds as an intern, working with video and technology for the minor leagues. She also played softball in college for St. Mary's and Boston University. Mount Lebanon head coach Bob Palko was given the award of NFL High School Coach of the Year. Palko was announced as the winner during the 2022 NFL Pro Bowl. The Mount Lebanon Blue Devils won the WPIAL 6A championship against Central Catholic by a score of 47-7 and went on to beat St. Joe's Prep in the PIAA championship with a score of 35-17. During an ESPN interview after winning the award, Palko shared some of the things he learned in his 40 years of coaching. He said, quote, "You've got to learn to adapt and adjust through life, and these kids have really helped me to do that." End quote. Congratulations to Coach Palko and his team.
The Super Bowl was Sunday, and it was a good game that needs to be broken down.
And RMU had a busy weekend with so many teams in action. Michael Deemer is at the sports desk to break it all down. Michael?
Thanks, guys. Well, it isn't the sports desk if we don't talk about the Super Bowl. The most watched television broadcast of the year and 56th installment of the game took place in Los Angeles, which is also home to one of the teams playing in NFL's championship game. The Los Angeles Rams took home the Lombardi Trophy for the second time in franchise history, defeating the upstart Cincinnati Bengals 23-20. Cooper Kupp won the Super Bowl MVP with his 2-touchdown performance. There are now rumors swirling that Pennsylvania native and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Aaron Donald will retire, as Rodney Harrison said pregame that may be possible after winning his ring. In Olympic news, the Russian Olympic Committee has been in the middle of a doping controversy. Once again, 15-year-old figure skater Kamila Valieva has been caught using banned heart medicine called trimdazidine. Although testing positive back in December, it was recently shed to light as she won the gold medal in the team event in Beijing. Valieva was cleared to keep competing in the games, as she is barred from a ceremony if she medals. She qualified first in the qualifying and will compete for the gold tonight in the individual event. Immediately following the Super Bowl, NBC aired another major sporting event, the Olympics. That's right, approximately 6,779 miles away from where we stand in this studio, in the Wukesong Arena, where the U.S. women's hockey team faced Finland in the semifinals. the team won 4-1 and to advance to the finals and face Canada for the 4th straight Olympics. Aiming to defend their title, they found the Olympic title. The gold medal will be aired tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Staying on the ice, the Pittsburgh Penguins defeated the Senators by a score of 2-0 Thursday night. Brian Rust and Jeff Carter were the goal scorers for the Black and Gold, as Casey DeSmith stopped all 26 of his shots for the second shutout of the season. Coming off the shutout, the Metro Division leaders kicked off a Super Bowl matinee against the New Jersey Devils. Let's see how they fared in New Jersey.
5-2-1, lost to them on October 30th. Defeated the Devils. There's about an 85% chance of that as we watch Zaka. The drop for Sharon Govich. Here's Hughes shooting, scored! Jake Hughes back in the lineup. With support from Siegenthaler, Brian Boyle finds a loose puck, sends it across the goal mouth. Picked up here by Ruedel again. He'll drop it back. Matheson drives, scored! Michael Matheson with a blast, and Crosby to the circle. The return pass to the Penguins captain. Tatar's out of the box. Back to 5-on-5. They score! It was redirected past Gillies. This will be an even strength goal to Hischier. Devils captain pulls up, gives here to Tatar. Hischier shoots, right it off the post. It's in! Tie game! Zaka wipes out. That got through. Rebound, they score! Brian Boyle back at Prudential Center with the go-ahead goal. Play by Crosby and out to center. Penguins play it ahead. Here's Gensel, and that will make it a 4-2 game. The empty net goal by Jake Gensel. Continue. Devils gave it a good fight. The Penguins go on to win 4-2. We're back with a wrap on MSG Plus in just a few moments.
Coming off that win, the Pens returned home last night against Philadelphia. Captain Sidney Crosby scored his 500th goal in his career in a 5-4 overtime win over the Flyers. RMU's men's basketball was back home following the victory against Ken Palm's worst IUPUI. The Colonials faced Detroit Mercy, and the leading scorer at the time, Antoine Davis, scored his 25th point and scored 26 in the game for the Titans to defeat the Colonials soundly, 79-62. RMU welcomed Oakland to town, playing close with them all night long, and key turnovers were the difference maker for the Colonials as the Golden Grizzlies broke RMU's hearts 71-68. Looking back to get a win on track, Coach Toole's team waddled up to I-376 and faced the Youngstown State Penguins. Khalil Spears scored a career-high 27 points and gained a much-needed victory heading towards March. The women's team at the moment will host a Horizon League playoff game, but would need to play like a Horizon League contender with 2 games on the road. The Colonials tipped off against Purdue-Fort Wayne on a Friday evening tilt. Ashaya Klopfenstein scored a team-high 16 in a 60-48 victory. Fresh off a much-needed Colonials win, it looked like Scott Snyder's team had been preaching. They are made for March. The girls played a good Cleveland State team and shut them down, forcing 9% of Viking three-pointers to fall. Both men's and women's teams are finding their groove where it matters the most. To the turf, both men's and women's lacrosse seasons are now in full swing. For the men, off a 21-12 loss in the hands of third-ranked Duke, the Colonials faced the Bucknell Bison for the first time under head coach Craig McDonald. Despite a 5-goal performance by Taggart Clark, the Bison won a close one, 14-11. The women's lacrosse team opened their season at Ohio State. The preseason MAC favorites struggled against the Goliath of the Big Ten lacrosse, falling to the Buckeyes 17-5. That's what's going on in sports. Let's head back to Sam and Julia.
Thanks, Michael. When we come back, find out what pop star donated to a local food bank.
And Nathan Kingston is at the A&E desk to tell us what's going on in the world of entertainment here on RMU Live.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Right now, we are going to talk a little bit about the Billie Eilish concert that happened in Pittsburgh last week, right, Sam?
Yep.
Billie Eilish. Her music is incredible. So let's see what our own Terrion Bell had to say about the concert.
Tuesday, February 8th, Grammy Award-winning singer Billie Eilish visited the PPG Paints Arena with her Happier Than Ever world tour. During the tour, Eilish performed songs from her 2019 album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, such as Bury a Friend and Bad Guy, alongside songs from her most recent album, Happier Than Ever, such as Therefore I Am and Your Power. The concert started with opening act TK Maidza, an artist and friend who Billie called to open the show. Maidza was elated when she got the call and flew all day to arrive at the venue. After Maidza opened the show with her exhilarating performance, it was time for Billie to take the stage. The concert opened with Bury a Friend and continued with tons of peaks and valleys, going from songs that make you want to dance forever to songs that cue the tears.
Thank you, Terrion. Billie Eilish has also been encouraging her fans to eat more plant-based meals. At each stop on her tour, she has been getting her mother's nonprofit organization, Support and Feed, involved. After her recent stop in Pittsburgh, Eilish's mom, Maggie Bard, has decided to donate her surplus of vegan meals to people in need of healthy food. Bard met with the founder of 412 Rescue, Leo Lizarado, and decided that the surplus of meals that she had would be donated to Outreach Arms. Thank you guys for this week. Let's send it over to Nathan Kingston for our A&E desk.
Thank you guys. Thank you for this week. In A&E news, we have lots to talk about, and even a small clip coming up for the Hollywood Minute. To kick things off, we had Super Bowl 56 happen this Sunday, but I will be talking about everything but the actual game. The ads themselves and the halftime show were something to watch, as well as the game. Some of the best ads this year were from crypto companies such as Coinbase, who had the bouncing barcode, beer ads with the likes of Guy Fieri in Flavortown, and sports stars in a bowling alley. Many celebrities were also starring for many of these other companies. And trailers for upcoming movies and shows, which I will come back to later. Continuing on with the Super Bowl extras, the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show was a spectacular of a hip-hop rap nostalgia. The talent featured Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and a surprise guest of 50 Cent that was shown hanging by his feet upside down. But the performances did the most popular songs, and they were very clean, but on a very small linear stage. The show was put together very well and had great choreography with everyone's songs. To follow up on this performance, singer Billie Eilish had a Pittsburgh debut last week. The performance was performed at PPG Paints Arena and was on her stop on the tour behind her Grammy-nominated album, Happier Than Ever. There was also bloodshed on the stage when she was rolling around on stage while singing the song, Strange Addiction. And she started to bleed on both of her knees because of this. Also there was her brother Phineas playing many of the instruments and the drummer Andrew Marshall. She gave fans a passionate performance of visceral thrills, real emotion, authenticity, humor, a sense of belonging, and a shared experience. And over the 90-minute set, she delivered that beautifully. Now, let's toss it over to the Hollywood Minute to see what's going on.
17 years after their classic duel in Star Wars Episode III, Revenge of the Sith, the film's stars are reprising their iconic roles. Lucasfilm has announced a release date for the long-rumored limited series Obi-Wan Kenobi, with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen returning as Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and his apprentice Anakin Skywalker, who turned to the dark side and became Darth Vader. The series picks up a decade after the events of Revenge of the Sith, when it debuts on Disney Plus May 25th.
You're special, Charlie. I'm not special. I'm a monster. Charlie!
I want to help her. You want to use her?
Here's your first look at Firestarter. Ryan Kira Armstrong and Zac Efron star in the latest big screen take on the Stephen King story about a girl with pyrokinetic powers. The movie debuts in theaters and streams on Peacock May 13th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniels.
Thanks, Nate. When we come back, Jackie Rasta is back in the weather studio to give us a look at the forecast.
Right here on RMU Live.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Now let's take a look at our forecast with Jackie Rasta. Jackie?
Thanks, guys. Let's take another look at today's weather. Today is going to be a high of 57 degrees and a low of 27. Humidity is going to be at 29%, and there's going to be a 0% chance of rain today. For tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be a high of 59 degrees and a low of 22. There's going to be a 70% humidity, and there's going to be a 100% chance of rain, so make sure you have your umbrella. For this week's forecast, Friday is going to be just regular sunny and cloudy at the high of 30 degrees and a low of 23. Saturday, we are going to get snow at a high of 30 degrees and a low of 23 degrees. Sunday is going to be a lot sunnier and a lot better at a high of 52 degrees and a low of 34. Monday is going to be about the same thing with sun and clouds at a high of 59 degrees and a low of 42. And finally, Tuesday is going to be rainy at a high of 57 degrees and a low of 50 degrees. That is all for weather this week. I hope you all have a great week. Let's go back to the desk.
Thanks, Jackie. Now, what do you think about that warm weather coming our way?
I'm just so excited for it, and I hope that it stays. I'm not excited for the rain tomorrow, though.
Oh, I agree.
I'll have to remember my umbrella, but what are you going to do?
Definitely. So, what do you have going on these upcoming weeks, Sam?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Next week, actually, right here at RMU from Thursday to Sunday, that's February 24th to the 27th, is Young Frankenstein right here in the RMU Colonial Theater. So be sure to come check that out. It's going to be a great show. But in terms of our show, for Jackie, Michael, Julia, and Nate, I'm Sam Dutch, and we'll see you next week on RMU Live.